Gibran, all yours, Abrahana. Yazim, pula on the mic, ya.
Alright.
Okay. Yuk.
Kami perintis generasi multimedia, teguh mendukung harapan agung negara, menyahut seruan wawasan negara, unggul di mata dunia. Langkah seiring mengejar cita di hari muka, kan terus maju bersama menuju jaya.
Wonder how fast intelligent machines run on 5G? At MMU, you'll find the answer. Wonder how creative content and online businesses are mastered? At MMU, you'll find the answer. Wonder how cybersecurity and law function? At MMU, you'll find the answer. Find out all these and many more at Multimedia University because MMU is you, leading the digital future. Visit mmu.edu.my.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon, my dear viewers. I'm your host, and I hope everyone is staying safe during these trying times posed by the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Firstly, I would like to welcome all of you viewers watching this special edition of the MMU Alumni Vibes program series. As you are all aware, this program is a series which is streamed every month live on the MMU YouTube channel and the Multimedia University Facebook page. I am certain that many of you have caught episodes in our series in the past on various aspects of preparing life after graduation. If you do enjoy the content we created in the past, do leave a like and share the live with friends and family. We have prepared a wonderful show for you today as the final episode of the year. We have invited two of our distinguished MMU graduates will discuss a very important and useful issue relevant to students and soon to be graduates. When we talk about our future work life, specifically charting our career path, we tend to question ourselves at several common questions. Which industry or sector do you wish to work in? Am I eligible to apply for such a position? Am I good enough to fit into that role? What kind of expectations does the employer expect from me? And do I fit the description of the suitable candidate? So there are many more questions that are circling around in our minds when you're planning to seek a job after you graduate. Aptly put, am I future ready? So the topic that's going to be discussed today is just be future ready. We have two guest speakers in the privilege that I am able to introduce them. The first alumni who shall be discussing the topic is Associate Professor Lee Yun Lee, who has a degree in Bachelor's of Information Technology from the Faculty of Computing and Informatics and graduated here in 2003. She is currently working as an Associate Professor in the Department of Computing and Information Systems, School of Engineering and Technology at Sunway University. And we also have Mr. Gan Chunyi, who has a degree in the Bachelor's of Information Technology from the Faculty of Computing and Informatics and graduated as well in 2003. He is currently working in the head of Big Data and Data Analytics at the FusionX Group. Now, before we get into the crux of the topic, let's briefly ask ourselves, what is future ready? What I've gathered from reliable sources, being future ready simply means taking initiative and working towards a brighter future by taking proactive steps, such as to reach our full potential. And this may mean by learning and developing new skills and knowledge over and beyond your university days, and applying them for a better future. Now, we have prepared a couple of questions for the both of you, Mr. Gan and Dr. Lee. So please, share your early experiences after your graduation. Mr. Gan, would you like to start first?
Thank you. Hi everyone. Be nice to actually be invited to this sharing. I think based on after I graduated from MMU, been involved in mainly in the space of development, software development, mobile development. I think back in 10 years ago, I got a chance, an opportunity to involve in the space of data analytics, venture into artificial intelligence and big data, mainly looking in researching, looking into practicality of how big data, how machine learning and AI able to help the industry in the space of data intelligence transformation. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gan. Now, what about you, Dr. Lee?
Hi, very good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Hazim, for your kind introductions. Yes, after I will say that I would like to thanks to MMU due to the collaborations between the MMU and Dongsuan University. I have a chance to visit Dongsuan University for internship for 4 months. Then after that, I actually pursue my master degree in Dongsuan University, majoring in software, master in engineering, majoring in software. So from there, I have experienced the exposure more onto the computer graphic and slow image processing discipline. So that's also give me an idea why I'm actually choosing the career in the academics. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Lee. Now that we've known what you've done after graduation, now we would like to know also what are your current updates on your current career. So, Dr. Lee, would you like to start off?
Yes, currently I'm actually associate professor at Sunway University under the departments of computing and information technology, under the School of the Engineering and Science, under the School of Engineering and Technology at Sunway University. So basically, my role here is not only teaching, so I also heading the role as a program leader for the postgraduate program by monitoring all the students' work. Yeah, thank you.
I see. All right, Dr. Lee. Now, Mr. Gan, what about yourself?
Right. So, apart from doing, still very much involved in the space of big data and analytics, apart from doing many software development, AIs, I also very heavily involved in looking into maybe defining the right practices, the right framework, the right use cases for the different industries, how the different clients, different industries are really benefiting from big data and AI, and really being improved in terms of their, whether it's increase of revenues, whether it's decreasing of costs by leveraging on the power of big data, the power of data intelligence.
I see. All right, Mr. Gan, thank you for that. Now that we've known that you're working in the field of IT, both of you, now I would like to also know, why did you choose IT field as your future career? So, Mr. Gan, can you start off?
All right. So IT is always my core interest since the days in high school. Always love the magical outputs of what you can code, what you can program, and many things that you can do in the digital world. And many things that can be invented from a concept of automations or improvements. How do we really help the business, the life, our life experience as well. So that's where I get myself being into IT since my young days.
Okay. Now, thank you, Mr. Gan. That's very interesting. So now, Dr. Lee, now why did you choose IT as your field of a career?
All right. For me, actually, slightly different. My interest is not IT at the beginnings. I actually like some things on the content or visualizations. So, but somehow I'm not that creative in the art side. So, I found out the IT through the programs that actually allowed me to write some code, and then I can actually use data to do some representations or visualizations. So somehow from there, I can see that some things that using coding or using program that helps me or give me opportunity to present the knowledge or the idea that I want to the interface. So that's caught my attention. Then I actually choose IT for my discipline. Yeah.
I see. Okay. Now, for the next question, I would like to ask you both. Now that we're talking about be future ready, so what do you perceive or understand by being future ready? Dr. Lee, would you like to start?
Okay. First of all, I would say that as a to be future ready, the first thing is not always to see ahead what you have to be ready. And most of time, to me, is I would say that would be good to visualize yourself what you want to be in after next 3 years after you graduate from your degree, for example, or after next 5 years, what you actually envision yourself after that, after the 3 year gap. Then from there, you actually will know that what you like, and you can actually prepare during your study in your degree or university, and also gain as much as information or knowledge that you can actually earn during the university life. Then you can leverage from that. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Dr. Lee. Now, Mr. Gan.
Yeah, just bounce on top of Dr. Lee's opinion. I do agree with Dr. Lee's comment. Just stand on it that I think the definitions for me in terms of future ready is more about whether you are getting yourself into the right direction, the right industry that you're interested at, not because of what the industry is saying, the hottest job, the sexiest job of it, but more towards whether you are interested with it. Because if you have the passion, you definitely can make different in the industry that you're passionate with.
I see.
Secondly, definitely will be always not only following the academics, that which is very important because it built your foundations and fundamental, but do also look into what is happening in the world, in outside, in industry, leveraging on internet technology. That will help to build yourself with even strengthen your skills, and then you're more ready when you are entering into the industry world.
I see. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Gunn and Dr. Lee. Now we've known a little bit more about yourselves and also what we understand about being future ready. Right now, we'll be going to a short commercial break and we'll be back in a few minutes. So stay tuned and don't go nowhere. We'll be back and see you guys in a bit.
Apa khabar pemata dunia? Greetings from MMU. Multimedia University takes pride in your achievement. We always want to know your latest updates. We welcome pemata dunia to share your ideas and insights. MMU and you can always work continuously as a team. Together we can soar higher. Good luck for more successes. Stay connected with MMU. Visit alumni website at alumni.mmu.edu.my or Facebook page and Instagram Permata Dunia. MMU is you. Kasih sayang dari MMU. MMU miss you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ami Iskandar bin Al-Faisal, and I am the alumni Permata Dunia, graduated in 2021 from Faculty of Applied Communication. So currently I am working at a company called Blueduck Tech Sendirian Berhad, okay, and my position is the Business Partnership Executive of Blueduck Malaysia. It is a very great journey and new experience for me since this is about sales marketing scheme, but the most important thing is that whatever it is, never give up, never surrender, because throughout each and every day it will be a learning process until the end of your time. Each and every day that you have is a learning process to you. So my advice to all of the MMU students, especially the FAC, Faculty of Applied Communication, is to never give up, never surrender, and I wish you all the best and good luck with your life.
Hello, Hadim Chris bin Zamudin. Saya Permata Dunia Faculty of Management dan saya class of 2019. Saya sekarang ni the co-founder of Glaze Eatery dekat Cyberjaya Tamarind Square. Kedai saya adalah kedai baru buka juga in 2018 dan sekarang ni kita orang tengah fikir nak expansion dan makan. So macam you guys datanglah try makan kita orang, nanti bagi review. Tengok.
Welcome back, dear viewers, to the MMU Alumni Vibes program, featuring our two alumnus, Mr. Gunn and also Dr. Lee. From the first segment, that they've shared some insight on how they began their career right up to this moment in the IT industry, where Mr. Gunn is one of the heads in the Fusion X group and Dr. Lee is an academic working in Sunway University. So those who have joined us, welcome. For those who are still here with us, thank you for listening into some perspective on being future ready by Mr. Gunn and Dr. Lee, our honored guest. So without wasting any time, let's jump back straight into our discussion. With that, I would like to ask a few questions based on your knowledge and experiences in the IT field. So Mr. Gunn, is it okay that I begin with you?
Okay, sure.
All right, so now we've known that you work on big data and data analytics itself. I would say I'm quite intrigued with that area. So do tell me, what is big data and data analytics?
All right. So usually big data, conventionally or on a standard terms, we usually refer to the main four V's: the velocity, the volume, the variety, and of course the value itself. In nutshell, is that can I, as a big data team or big data professions, can I really process a different kinds of data, being whether it's a structured data, whether it's coming from a relational database, whether it's semi-structured data like a JSON structure, XML structure, up to sensor data, and of course video and images. So in the beginning days of IT or analytics, which is like the data warehouse, business intelligence, we always talk about looking data from maybe just a relational transition data perspective. When it comes to big data, to really bring values back into the organizations, an organization doesn't only have a transition data. They have many different data. They have sensor data. They have data from social media. They have data from images, photos, videos. So how can we combine all these things together to give a better view to the organization, process it much faster? You don't take 1 month, you don't take 2 years to process the data. You can process it within maybe days itself or even hours. Can you provide values? Can you really generate out insights and provide suggestions, provide predictions, recommendations to the organization to improve themselves? And that's where we see how big data really helping the organizations and bringing out the maximizing of this analytics value to the organization.
I see. All right, Mr. Gunn. Now that you said that, I think big data and also data analytics has a big impact on organizations. So how do you think big data itself will be very important in the near future?
All right. So it becoming much and much more values. The awareness are getting greater today. Being actually um, spelled out or being actually being called out by many big players or even governments themselves that has seen the real values. From the days of only looking at can big data process the data or even much larger volume of data, until today can AI benefit from big data. We have many AIs coming out in the previous days that could not actually fully maximizing their AI values because of the limited um, computing power, for example. But as of today, the limitations of the computing resource has really been addressed in the space of big data. In-memory analytics, in-memory processing, distributed processing are something that empowering the entire use cases. What we cannot do in the earlier days today, there's possibility to do that as well. So that's where we see how the big data really help many organizations to actually transform into something more excellency in terms of their business operations, even automate AI, even automate the entire analytics, to automate their transaction systems to become more intelligent.
I see. Okay, Mr. Gunn. Now, I think big data can affect a lot of people, and I think sometimes we aren't prepared for these changes in the world. So, what do you think the public need to prepare for this big data phenomenon?
I think being whether they are aware or not aware, they really been part of the big data world itself.
Mhm.
When you use your mobile phone, those photo recommendations, the organizations of the photos, recognitions, or the beautifications of your camera photos, all are powered with AI. So
Mm-hmm.
um, our days already integrated with AI. Maybe we are just not very much aware of it. And the landing of AI and big data, it just comes so naturally into our life that we not really even aware of it, for example. I think the next tier will be more towards for the organizations to value the big data. So that is the one big gap in the industry today.
Mm-hmm.
That how can a big data and AI really benefiting my business, for example? Um, is my investment
Mm-hmm.
worthwhile on big data that can really generate a good ROI, a good return of investment that really can overturn my business. So I think that is one challenge that the organization is facing, and that require many industry players in this space, in these areas, to actually generate more awareness and education to the organization.
I see. Okay. Now, I think with that, we can see how data plays a big role in our everyday lives, and I think it influences or dictates the way information is provided to us. And we can see also how it will be something quite of a big impact for us in the future. So, needless to say, we should be prepared for the big changes and also which those big data will hit us in different many directions. So, thank you, Mr. Gunn, for these answers.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Now, Dr. Lee, you are currently an associate professor at Sunway University. So, you have chosen to be an academician and more so in the area of IT. Perhaps the viewer would like to know, why did you choose this line of vocation?
All right, thanks. As in, basically, actually will be from my experience when I did my master degree in Dongsu
Mhm.
University, where when I did master degree, we actually attached to the supervisor that we actually shared the same academic office with the supervisor and the professor there. So
Mhm.
from there, I actually have opportunity to observe the activities, what the professor do, where they actually have to prepare their materials, and then they actually conduct class. Then they also have the discussion about the research project, and then also attendance conferences and or the writing the publications work. So that's kind of inspired me, where you
Mhm.
actually can share your knowledge not in through one platform. You also can share your knowledge through multiple platforms. So that's cause why I actually choosing the academics as my career path in the IT field since I majored in software engineering.
I see. All right. So now you've been in the teaching field for quite a while now, I would say. So, in your experience, which topic in IT do you find the most interesting to teach the younger generation itself?
All right. I've been teaching is about 15 years, but throughout these 15 years, I also keep on teaching programming subject. So to me, programming subject is very interesting because it's not only theory based, it's also some sort like practical. You need
Mhm.
to go to the field. I mean, like you have to have your computers and then type your programs that where I can observe that students have the interactions where how they actually give commands to the computer and then when how the computer gives some response or output. So what's their
Mhm.
reaction and feedback? So that's caught me some attentions. And also another things that I would say that programming subject is interesting because student could help student to deal with the problem solving skill because we
Mhm.
give them certain problems then how they actually address those problems write a code and then how the program can actually address the problems of any kind of field that we actually can provide to them.
I see. Okay, Dr. Lee. So now that you shared one of the most interesting topics that the younger generation would like to learn, now in your assessment, other than that, what are the students most eager to learn?
Okay, not about the subject. I would say that in the university life, I not only depend on the curriculum design that we usually line out for the students for the specific program. So
Mhm.
as a student, I would say that not only that, you should also pick up the certain soft skill, like the I mentioned just now, like problem solving. You should also have some communication skill, and some others innovation or creativity that's take up the knowledge that you should have and then transform that to the another outcome of the
Mhm.
result that you actually can benefit to the society or your actual lifestyle. So that is something that I would say that student likes because especially project based. So you can give them certain projects. Then after that, they actually will take different knowledge they actually learn from different subject. Then they actually compile them. Then
See.
deliver the output result.
All right. Okay, Dr. Lee. Now, for the final question for you, now you've been I would say a teacher and a lecturer in the Sangwoo University. Now, what are the most bittersweet moments that you have encountered during your teaching experience?
Bittersweet moment. Okay. I would say that when you actually can see the student who very struggle when they learns the certain subject or knowledge from my subject. Actually, I'm teaching problem solving based subject matter in programming, where we actually deal students a lot of different kind of problems, and then they have to write their pseudocode and then write their program means. So can see from the day one they are struggle until they are graduate on the final year. So you can see their improvement or their progress. So that's some things that we can see their efforts have been see the fruits that have they put the how they put they can see the outcome of the result. Another thing is I can see the graduate because I'm here is almost 11 years. Then they have graduates. Then they return back to university and telling me I'm doing this, I'm successful in this career. So there's something that you will feel proud of them. Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Lee, thank you very much for sharing some insightful knowledge and also your experiences during your teaching years and related to your years, I think over years of teaching. From here, viewers, we can clearly see the sense of the realities of becoming an academician in the field of information and technology. So we shall go into a short commercial break. So do not go anywhere and stay with us. We'll see you guys in a bit. Thank you.
Wonder how fast intelligent machines run on 5G? At MMU, you'll find the answer. Wonder how creative content and online businesses are mastered? At MMU, you'll find the answer. Wonder how cybersecurity and law function? At MMU, you'll find the answer. Find out all these and many more at Multimedia University, because MMU is you, leading the digital future. Visit mmu.edu.my.
Apa khabar pemata dunia? Greetings from MMU. Multimedia University takes pride in your achievement. We always want to know your latest updates. We welcome pemata dunia to share your ideas and insights. MMU and you can always work continuously as a team. Together we can soar higher. Good luck for more successes. Stay connected with MMU. Visit alumni website at alumni.mmu.edu.my or Facebook page and Instagram Permata Dunia. MMU is you. Kasih sayang dari MMU. MMU miss you.
Okay, welcome back to the MMU alumni program this afternoon with Mr. Gan and also Dr. Lee, sharing their stories about how to prepare for the future after graduation. Now, without wasting any time, let's continue into the final segment of the episode, where our guests will be conveying their thoughts on what graduates should know or expect before going into the workforce. So, for the first question, Mr. Gan and Dr. Lee, what should the FCI or the MMU students graduate after they're going into the work life? Dr. Lee, would you like to start off?
All right. So basically, from my opinion is don't expect whatever you have learned in university that you can immediately apply. Most of the time, the job that you actually get, maybe you have to learn to unlearn to relearn the things again. So you always expect, because in ICT, they actually quite fast changing in the technology. So we have to keep on learning. So don't expect to have whatever you have learned in university that you say that you can't apply it. But from what actually you learn, your fundamental that you build, you actually have prepared yourself to be able to learn it by yourself. Means that lifelong learning kind of the practice. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Lee. Now, Mr. Gan, what about you?
Right. Yeah. As roughly mentioned by Dr. Lee, I think when graduates enter into the industry world, there will be a lot of expectations. There will be a lot of surprises that we face. For example, the programming they learn may not be well suited to the technology stacks that the company they're using. There's a lot of expectations. They will be very resourceful, independent, be quick learners for that. Just want to extend a bit in terms of data analytics space. If let's say that a data scientist, new fresh grads that want to venture into data science world, a lot of times they have a very good fundamental skill sets of the data science life cycle. How should I do data science, everything. But throughout the years of experience, usually the difficult part will be at finding the right ingredients to put into data science. So let me explain a bit. I like to actually explain in the context of learning to cook, right? So you want to create a dishes to suit your customers. It can be different customers. Some customer like spicier food. Some customer like more salt things. Some customer like soup, for example, dry or everything. So you have different flavors that you need to cater, and you are inventing a new dishes, for example. And you learn the basics. You learn the skill set, how to cook, right? You learn how to cut. You know how to actually cook, pan fry, everything. But usually, to come out a good and delicious dish, you the ingredients that you choose
I
will be
see.
very important, and that is what apply to data science. It's not about which algorithm that you use, but what ingredients that you put into the algorithms become important, and that is where many data scientists, fresh graduates, will always face when they first enter to the industry, and that is where um, readings, referencing to internet, working with the domain expertise will be very important for them to gain those experiences to be able to proceed or advance their career in the space of data science.
I see. Okay, Dr. Gan, thank you very much for that insight and also your input. So for the next question, I think this one can be very important to the graduates that will be coming out soon. So what do you think are the soft skills or the technical skills that is needed to be used in the workforce? Because I think a lot of organizations are not only looking for like good grades, but they're also looking for certain skills that can fit the work that they're going to be going in. So Mr. Gan, would you like to put in your info?
All right. I think the attitude to work, the attitude to learn, and the attitude to go through what we call as the hurdles and the pain is very important. For example, if you want to do data science, you need to learn to deal with dirty data. You need to learn the experience. You need to go through dealing with cleansing of the data, maybe 10, 20, even hundreds different data sets that you want to actually process them. So we have seen people who want to do data science, but when it comes to dealing with data, they are not enthusiastic about it. They are like, no, I don't want to do it. They are actually afraid of, if they say that I need to process 10 tables, for example, I need to join 10 tables together. So they will be afraid and they will like, this is not what I want. So that is what they need to go through that. Even for a developer, when they go out, it's not about how do you implement the programming, but how do you be full stack? How do you um, make sure your applications that you develop is good user experience? Because today the the requirements in the industry are getting higher. They don't want a CRM system like the old days, but they want a good user experience version of CRM system, for example,
I
right?
see.
Mouth friendly, all these things. So there are a lot of requirements, getting more and more demand from the customer. So the fresh grads, they must have the right attitude to break through that challenge.
I see. All right. Thank you, Mr. Gunn, for your input on that question. Now, what about you, Dr. Lee? I think we've seen a lot of different students coming out and coming in. So, what do you think are the skills or the technical skills that are needed into going into the workforce itself?
Right. For the technical skill that I think they need is, I would say that there will be, to me, not only for like IT field for the computing like programming. So more important is problem solving, as I mentioned, because this skill, this kind of soft skill that needed is, how to say, it's really important how they can carry out the task that been assigned by their superior. So for the technical side or technical skill that they need, depending what field they actually in, because like this day, let's say you are talking about the cybersecurity, right? So then you actually need to understand, you have the domain knowledge on that field, then you're only able to execute and deploy the right thing. And let's say you are in the data science, like what's the field of the Mr. Gunn, so you actually need to have the data science knowledge or the what are the right frameworks that you actually need to be applied. So basically, I would say that depending which is the career that you want to venture. Like me, if you want to be academic, I would say that in IT field, you don't expect that you actually learn in the degree or your master years the subject that actually can you're going to reteach those subjects again because things change, the technology change. You may need to go and learn and take out the different kind of training, and then after that you have to design the curriculum and come back to the to deliver to the career that you actually apply to.
All right, thank you, Dr. Lee. Mr. Gunn, I think like what you said, attitude, I think also picking up certain skills going into the workforce would be very useful because a lot of organizations nowadays look not only for the academic part of things, but also they look into technical skills, they look into soft skills because we're not only handling with what you call the computers, but also handling things with people itself. So now, based on your opinion, which area of IT is popular to learn these days and in the future? And I would say this would be useful for anyone out there who wishes to make a living in the IT industry. So, Mr. Gang, would you like to start out?
Um, I think the fundamentals of programming knowledge, the logical thinkings, critical thinkings, problem solving skill set is always the fundamentals, I would say, that you want to actually embark on. Again, I would say, end of the day is do you, for example, if you can, do something outside of what you learn in the universities, joining webinars. So there are many webinars, there are many conference that expose your world itself, so that you do not only limited to the basic or to the base, which is very important skill sets that you learn in the university. But of course, you will be at a much more advantage situations, especially when you join the interview. You can share with the interviewer that you'll learn about these things. You join some conference. You understand about what is upcoming trend coming in. That usually will impress the interviewers that you are resourceful. You're willing to learn outside of what you are being learned or being told in the university.
I see. Okay, Mr. Gan. Now, Dr. Lee, you've seen a lot of different subjects in the teaching world. So, do you think that there are certain things that people should learn these days?
Okay, so I mean, if you are referring to the IT field, that I would say that this day we also apply the programming subjects to our school level as well. We not longer that waiting until the student have to come to the university level to learn that. So that is one things that everything I think everyone should know how to code. It's not say that only for IT field that they should have to learn, because coding is something like another language that we actually communicate. The only thing is we not communicates to the human, we actually communicate to the machine or the devices. So that is one subject that I think they should actually pick up and learn. Another one I would say about design or the content, because we have technology, we have a lot of advanced technology these days, but how can we actually leverage this technology and build meaningful content or the content that actually can actually benefit to our lifestyle? So what kind of the right content that we can build? So content design, perhaps that will be another parts that we actually should focus in.
Okay, Dr. Lee, thank you. I think like nowadays IT is slowly and actually fast being quite something that is needed to learn, because nowadays we use a lot of what they call social media. We use a lot of machines that we need to learn, especially in the IT field. So I think learning or going to those fields, we need to know a lot of technical skills and also soft skills that we discussed earlier. So now for my final question, Mr. Gan, Dr. Lee, what is your advice to the MMU juniors if they wish to venture into the field similar to yours? Dr. Lee?
All right, so if you like to be academicians, means that your passion is to be academician, what I would say that the first thing is you should have the right mindset, because you actually meet different kind of student, different kind of diversity of the student from different kind of background. So in order to deliver the certain subject of knowledge is you not actually apply for one method. You actually need to explore different kind of approach or methods to actually deliver or to transfer your knowledge to the group of students. So that is the things that I would say to prepare that kind of challenge. And also as academicians, another possible words that you actually will have will be not only teaching and learning, you also will have to do research, right? So you also need to know what are your research field that you are going to do based on this as well. So in the research means that you will do some supervision tasks where you supervise your postgraduate students and also have some leadership role, like for example, taking care of the curriculum or the STEM program. So that would be the things that you need to do. And I always will say that if you want to be academicians, always to be kind to yourself and also to be kind to others, because the job that you need to do is beyond what you actually expect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Lee, for the input you've given. Now, Mr. Gan, what about yourself?
So I will share my advice to two different category of career track. For software developers, for people who want to venture into software development, IT development, I would think that first of all, attitude to me is very important. That really define how you can be very successful in your career. That apply to both data science and both software development. Actually, any of careers, I think attitude is very important. The attitude to do and can do. That is what we always say. The can do stuff. Of course, being resourceful, being open up your eye, join different events, be paying attention to the industry technology, because what we are experiencing today is with all this pandemic, with all this digital transformation coming in as a boom, you are no longer competing within your own country, your own states, but you are open to globalizations. Many organizations outside looking at maybe even remote development from developers from the other countries itself. So you are competing with much larger world today. Hence, your capabilities, competency become very important. As of data science candidates who want to venture into data analytics, data science, um, there's no there is always what, because data hero team means that it is a teamwork for data analytics. You have people who are very good in processing data. You have people who are very good in algorithms, which is data science. Have people very good in analytic skills, logical skills, who can understand the industry needs better and able to pitch good use cases. So these are what we call. So for students, you definitely have to learn a lot of fundamental skills the base, the most important foundations of data science.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to know that what are you good at? Are you good in maybe communications, maybe story pitching, or are you good in dealing with data cleansing, data processing, scrapping of data, or are you good in machine learning, data science? So all of them have their own functions, but yet important is you must know where is your interest at and your what you call as your core interest and core patients function at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gan. Now, actually, we have a couple more questions, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So, for the next question, I think, what are the challenges or what are the things they should look out for when they're going into the workforce, especially in the IT field? So, Dr. Lee, would you like to start out?
What are the challenges of the fresh graduate when they are look for the job or the
For the when they're going to look for a job.
okay, so this day a lot I think we have produced a lot of graduates and they also kind of equivalent a par with your competitions, and but somehow to me I will notice that IT fields you actually have a lot of opportunity and options for you to choose as well. So in order to excel, I would say that first, perhaps what you can do is you do take part more in the activities in university like hackathon, the events, all these things. So that will be parts that can actually prepare you and to be some sort of kind of outstanding and to be appeal amongst the among your peers. So that will be the things that you can consider. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Gan, what about you?
Generally, the challenges that graduates usually will face are the mismatch of their skill set. That's what we observe, right? So, for example, generally the students, graduates will learn Java programming, for example, and some basic HTML programming. But when you enter to the world, then you start seeing a lot of different technology skills. You need to learn cloud computing. You need to be well versed with the latest cloud technologies, the latest DevOps, or even Node.js, for example, Vue.js. So there are many different programming framework, and across different organizations, they have different programming requirements. Etc. So it's just to embrace these kind of challenges and get yourself up to speed and willing to learn. That's important. As for data science, when they come out, they usually have to deal with data cleansing. It's the first thing first, right? So they have to be passionate about data, not only about algorithms. So some fresh grads, they come out, they will think that I'm just interested to come out algorithm, to come out use case. Whether the data is good, trustworthy, that's not my problem. The garbage in, garbage out. That's what usual comments that people give. Whether it's useful, whether it's really practical to the industry, to the clients, is not part of their interest. That is usually hitting them very badly because the industry doesn't think that way. The industry think that you are supposed to make sure the data is good, trustworthy. The result that you're presenting to me, the findings that you're presenting to me, must be something useful for me, must be something that can help me. So that's what the expectations from the industry. So there's a big gap for that. So fresh grads of data science, when they come up, they have to embrace the kind of high expectations from the industry towards the data scientists. And that's what we say that you have to be humble, have to learn, and have to listen to the industry problems and work with the seniors together to come up a good use case.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gan. So I think we can, a lot of the students can take note on those advices given by Dr. Lee and also Mr. Gan, and I think they can use it to work when they're going into the workforce itself. So now we'll have another short break for the next session. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Now we'll have a quick Q&A session by questions given by the audience that are watching. So for the first question, questions by the Facebook Live. Now, what are the costs of IT recommended for the university students? Dr. Lee, I think you would have a lot to talk about.
The course are referring to the subject or the program?
I think the program itself.
So I would say that if you actually are the person who interested to build something, perhaps you can consider software engineering or the computer science programs for that, because that would be a kind of the demand this day that people would like to have the different kind of solution from different discipline or domain of the industry. I hope I
see.
answered the questions. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Lee. Now, a question for you, Mr. Gan. Now, how do we take the right first approach to the digital transformation and the technology use?
A very good question, actually, and it's very difficult to answer as well. Um, I would say, based on my experience, you have to first look at your target audience, which is usually your client. What is the biggest pain? Digital transformation is a long journey. You won't be able to implement a digital transformation within 3 months, 6 months, or even 1 year. It's a long journey, especially when you ingest a transformation that come with intelligence, data intelligence together. So the first thing first usually is you need to understand the biggest pain point, and then you solve the biggest pain point, and then you come out of prioritization and then go on. So it's not about should I build a mobile app first? Should I maybe replace your ERP system, or should I put in an accounting system, or should I do a BI or data warehouse? That is not the biggest point. That is more about what are you trying to solve. If you're trying to solve, maybe for example, you're trying to save your costs, then maybe we should look into your hosting costs. Can I optimize your hosting costs? Can I bring that to cloud, for example? If you're trying to solve increased sales, then maybe we should look at, should I do more digital marketing? Should I have e-commerce system? Should I have a mobile commerce approach itself? So that is how we usually charted out the entire digital transformation roadmap based on what you're trying to achieve for every single business KPI milestone that you want to do.
I see. Okay, thank you, Mr. Gan. Now, for the next question, I think this one is for Dr. Lee. How important are private certification courses today as added value to the fresh grad CV?
The professional, sorry, can you repeat the questions?
How important are the private certification courses today has added value to the fresh grad CV?
All right. So also depending on the needs of the private, I think should be professional certifications to the university program, if I understand correctly. So for example, we just take one professional certifications that needed from the industry. So I would say that would be good because you actually have the prior knowledge of the informations or knowledge that you actually have put in during your undergraduate, and then after that you have that particular certification, so you have certified in that area. That actually will be given the advantage to the CV as well. But just to take note that the piece of paper doesn't mean everything. That's back to against like what I recall the words by Mr. Gan is your attitudes. It means that you're able to apply the knowledge that you have gained from the private certifications. Then that will be leverage and will benefits for your career future.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Lee. Now that Mr. Gan and Dr. Lee have graciously answered all the questions provided by our viewers, I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the crew and I to thank you, Mr. Gan, Dr. Lee, for being with us today. We are grateful for your time, sharing priceless knowledge and gaining insight on today's topic on how to be future ready, especially in the area of IT. To all the audience, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us today and participating in the session with our fellow alumnus. Stay safe, take care everyone. Till next time, goodbye and Assalamualaikum.